Hello.
Hello, Max. Ooh, Max, is that a new microphone? Because you sound fantastic this morning.
Some days I'm plugged in with my real mic, and some days I'm not.
Fantastic. And welcome, Vulcan. Really glad you could join us. And hey, Dave, how's it going?
Good. Good to see everybody.
All right. So let's get this started. Again, welcome everybody to our What's New in Agent Workspace event. Sorry for a little bit of a delay. We did have a little bit of technical difficulties getting our experts into the event. But let's get cracking. Brett, can you move over to the next slide, please? Excellent. So today we're going to be talking about Agent Workspace, specifically focus mode and admin permissions. We're going to have a little introduction. One of the most popular and vital aspects of these events. We want you guys to be asking questions. We want to answer as many questions as we can. Not only answer your questions and share with the Zendesk community. Over how that's going to work. Start with focus mode. Move on and permissions, and then we'll open up the live Q&A, and then we'll finish the event, and that will be that. We should not go over 45 minutes, but if we do, we do appreciate your patience as we try to get through every question today. So pretty much the way that this event's going to work is we're going to have two demos going over our focus areas today of the product. And then we're going to go ahead and have the Q&A aspect start. That being said, we don't want you not to ask questions during this event while presenting. Go ahead and get those questions in once they pop into your head, and we'll go ahead and start routing those, whether they can be answered live, whether we're going to need more time to work on those answers and answer those after the event. But once you have a question, go ahead and post it there so that way we can make sure we get it in first in, first out as soon as possible. For the answers that we can't answer today, we are going to go ahead and collect those answers and answer them offline, and we'll be publishing the results of this live Q&A within the Help Center, and we also will be having a recording of this on our Zendesk YouTube channel. We'll go ahead to both of those here in just a moment, so that way you can go ahead and navigate to that after the event. Next slide, please. Perfect. So introductions. My name is Devin Laspisa. I am a community engagement specialist here with the Zendesk community. Please, Brett. Thank you. And I primarily run and manage these type of events within the community. We try to do things like knowledge shares, let you know about what's new products that are coming down the pipeline. We also do live Q&As, areas of the product, and we do periodically do feedback events as well, but that's something we're slowly leaning into. With me, I have Brett Bowser and Dave Dyson, who are also two community engagement specialists here with the community. Brett Bowser primarily focuses on some of our user groups, and you've seen him, I'm sure, quite a few times answering questions within the community. He manages also the moderator program. So if you are a moderator or have ever had a moderator answer one of your questions, you have Brett Bowser to thanks for that. So round of applause for Brett. And with us, we also have Dave Dyson. He's one of the newest members of our community. He's a community engagement specialist who primarily focuses on content within the community. The weekly digest that you've seen before gets published every week, and Dave Dyson is why that actually happens. So thank you for your hard work with that. And our experts today are Vulcan. I apologize if I mispronounce your name, but I'm going to try my best. Akudan, did I get it right?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Oh, thank you, Vulcan. And Max McCall will be going over the areas of the product in Agent Workspace. Vulcan will be handling focus mode today, and then Max McCall will be talking about some of the admin settings that you'll be able to learn about. Next, please. So I've kind of gone over the event already. The event will see these two areas of the product, and we're going to be having live demos on those. And then while that's going on, if you have questions, please go ahead to in the Q&A. I can't stress enough that asking questions in general is a to get lost or forgotten. So please ask so that we can A, have a question being asked, and B, guarantees we won't miss it. Next slide, please. All right. So without further ado, why we're here and start with focus mode. Vulcan, would you like to take it away?
Yeah.
Awesome. Brett, if you could stop sharing your screen, please. Fantastic.
So, do you want me to share or?
Oh yes, if you could share your presentation, that'd be fantastic, Vulcan.
Oh, okay. Let me do that. Give me a sec, just to find the presentation. So, yeah, let me do the. So I'm sharing my screen right now.
If you're having issues, I think I can go ahead and try to share on your behalf.
No, I think I can share. So you can see my screen, right? It's a
yes.
bit easy one. Okay. How is it now?
Perfect. Okay,
cool. So Zendesk Focus Mode for live channels is a new feature that we introduce in the Agent Workspace. And this feature is specifically aimed for the customers that is using the Zendesk Agent Workspace, right? And here's a previous scenario, and we heard a lot from our customers. So for the agents that are online on live channels in Talk and Chat, previously what we heard a lot is once the agent is a blended agent and working on both channels at the same time, there could be a call incoming when the agent is already working a chat, right? Or it could be vice versa. If the agent is already on a call, there could be a chat arrive to the agent. So there is two options in this case. Even if you just reject that chat or that call, or if you're already on a chat and if you jump into the call, if you accept that, then the end user on the other side will probably suffer and will probably wait. So this is impacting the efficiency and the response time mostly. And our response pain points that we heard from our customers is to make both live channels aware of each other. So what this means is, this means that we introduced the focus mode, and focus mode is an opt-in feature, as you can see in the right-hand side here in the admin sections. In the admin section, in the settings, you can enable it in the agent section from the flag here. And once it's enabled, right, then this means that if your agent is online, both in Talk and Chat, if there is an incoming call accepted by your agent and assigned to the agent, and if your agent is on the call already, this means that it's a conditional routing is activated and it's focus mode, and Zendesk will not route any chats to your agent anymore until the call is ended. So it's basically once the call is ended, then if the agent is free, it can be another call arrive to the agent, or it can be a new chat. And once the chat is arrived and is accepted through the agent workspace by the agent, then this means that agent is on a chat at the moment, and until the chat is ended, there is no new calls to be offered. And when I'm saying chat and chats, this means that it's up to your max chat limit. So if your agent's max chat limit is 3, and this means that you can get 3 chats offered to you, and you can work on 3 chats, and it's up to your defined chat limit already in the chat product. So what this brings agents to be able to focus on one channel at a time and being able to be more productive and being able to really focus on what they do. And what we have seen so far in the early access program, this is really adding a lot of value to our customers that has the agents that are online in multiple channels at the same time. And also there are the other type of customers that they have the agents, for example, scheduled per channel normally, but during the peak times like the Black Friday or any time during the year that is requiring more resources to be staffed, then in this case they can go and ask some of the agents in the org to be able to be online in both channels and then make use of the focus mode, right? So
Vulcan,
this is a good benefit. Yeah.
you mentioned the EAP is if you interested in going ahead and participating in that EAP, would you recommend that they sign up for that still?
Yeah, exactly. We have a lot of customers already in the EAP program, and they're already using the focus mode and they already like it. So if anyone interested in the idea for the focus mode and they think it's valuable to them, we have a page that they can go and fill the form, and then we'll just reviewing this form every day. And if the account is eligible, then we can make them part of the the AP program.
Perfect. And for anybody who is interested in that, I've gone ahead and linked the form that Vulcan just was talking about in the chat. And fill out that form, and then they'll go ahead, as he said, and review it. And if you qualify, grant you access to that EAP program.
Exactly.
And just before we move on, Gabrielle had a question real quick, and I did want to address this. Does this apply for all agents at once, or when it's enabled, or do we have to do something else in their agent role?
Great question. So focus mode applies on the account level, and it applies to all the agents. So once it's enabled from the admin settings, it's now enabled for your account. But there is a thing that I need to clarify in this case is like focus mode is a conditional routing, right? And it will be effective only if your agent is online in both channels. So it's actually account level setting, but it doesn't impact any agent who is not online in both channels.
Awesome, awesome.
So any other questions?
I believe that's it for now. Actually, as I was just saying that, the university decided to prove me wrong, and we have another question. Harriet asked, just to clarify on the point of being online in both channels, with focus mode being an account-wide setting, will it affect the experience of teams that schedule channels separately? For example, chat or talk, never online together. So that teams that do use live channels concurrently can use focus mode.
So it's like focus mode will not impact the existing experience, like if your agent's scheduled to one channel at a time. So if you're, for example, if you have a group of agents that is scheduled just for a single channel, it's fine. There is no difference. Or if it's chat or if it's talk, it's fine. What this will bring is if your agent needs to be online in both channels at the same time, like he can be or she can be online in different times in any channel, this is fine again. But if the agent is a blended agent, which means that he needs to be or she needs to be online across talk and chat at the same time, then focus mode will impact in terms of routing, and will route the stuff based on the agent's real-time activity, and then it makes the agent to be able to focus on one single channel at a time.
Perfect. And it looks like that definitely covered Harriet's question. So thank you for that, Vulcan.
No
Before
problem.
we move on, I want to just give the opportunity to ask Vulcan any more questions on what he's presenting in focus mode or the EAP in general.
Yeah, there is a demo video. Just give maybe more understanding as part of my slide deck. Is it okay to just to play that as a last piece of my presentation?
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't look like we're getting any more questions in Vulcan, so why don't we go ahead and pivot to that? And if we do have any during the video, we can go ahead and address those after.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'm just skipping that. This is the agent experience I already mentioned. And here is the video.
Vulcan, just to check, was there any audio that this video?
Yes. So
Okay.
Is it no sound so far?
It isn't coming through, unfortunately, which might be a technical issue on our end. What we can go ahead and do, though, in the summary of this event, we'll go ahead and include that video in the link, and we'll make sure that people have access to it. And we can also maybe, before the event's over, share everyone here and go ahead and let them have access to that so they can watch it on their own time as well.
Okay, cool. So in this case, I won't play it more, so we can share it separately. Is that fair enough?
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. We also did have another question come in playing that video, if we can go ahead and address that, from Sydney. And she asks, if there are a certain amount of agents in the chat and phone, does it continue to route chats to all agent and leave phones, or does it route chats to one agent till they hit their max?
Okay, this is another great question. So it depends. Chat product itself. So as a focus mode functionality, we don't change how products is doing their existing routings. Okay, let me play the video in the meantime. So what we do is exactly, we allow the existing product routing is still applying. What means that chat routing today depends on many different criteria. It depends on, last assigned item. It depends on, how long agent is online and kind of stuff. So to answer these questions, it depends on the, the criteria that has been defined for the agent. So there is no single pattern. It can behave differently from, account to account, depends on how the routing settings apply to the chat product in the account. So yeah, like I think this can be optimized through the chat routing settings, but yeah, there is no one single pattern overall.
Awesome. And go ahead and try to play this video at the end of our event, but I'd like to get to a few more of the questions that are coming in before we move on to Max's section. Harriet asks, will there be a way to adjust the priority of product routing? Ergo, chats are routed as a priority over time, or is it strictly based on the created timestamp as to which gets served first? Okay.
Yeah, we have really good questions today. So yeah, like focus mode is not building a new queue or a routing engine behind the scenes. what we do is basically we make the conditional routing at the time of the assignment, and we leave the, sorry, I just go back and stop sharing. So what we do is basically we leave the existing routing from talk and chat in place, right? And we do the trick at the time of assignment. And we check if the agent is already in the chat, we don't assign the call. If the agent is already in the call, we don't assign the chat. So we don't apply any priority in this case, and we don't change the existing routing mechanism in the products. But we have the initiative in Zendesk today and in the roadmap around the omnichannel routing engine and building the queues within this year, ideally. So within this initiative, it's a larger initiative that we build the new single queue, for categorizing the task and assigning them. So I think the prioritization inside the channel between the work items or task or across the channel will be part of it. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. And just as a side note, we always have the best questions at these events, Vulcan. So if you ever want to come back and get more great questions, you're always welcome to, because this is the high caliber of content we're ready to deliver to you.
Yeah, I really enjoyed. Yeah.
I will say this, the community is second to none when it comes to getting really great insight on our products, and just a perspective that's second to none. Before we move on, Annie does have another question. Again, I want to make sure we address these, as many of these as we can today. Is Zendesk planning on adding skill-based routing to talk to help with getting the chats and calls routed to the best person? Answer that right this moment.
So the answer is still the same. We have plans for the omni-channel routing, and it will be across the channels. And no commitment, but I guess skills-based routing will be part of it. Yeah.
And then Vulcan, one in terms of the EAP, this is early access, so that means it's not live yet, and things are subject to change. If users are jumping into this and they're really, really liking this and they're wanting this to be implemented fully, is there anything you can speak to on that currently? Yeah,
so the EAP program runs from several months already. So we have lots of customers, and they use it heavily. And the idea is to GA the focus mode feature within the next quarter, hopefully. Again, not a commitment, but we have plans to make it generally available as soon as possible.
And when it is available, everyone here can go ahead and find that information. We'll go ahead and publish it in the announcement section of the Help Center.
Exactly. When it's GA, I'll publish the information, and then this setting in the admin center that I showed already in the presentation, then it will be visible to the eligible accounts, which means that they have the Agent Workspace enabled already and have the talk and chat products, and they can just opt in and start using the focus mode.
And for anybody who wants to keep up to date on when we're going ahead and announcing new products or anything that's a pretty big deal in terms of the Zendesk ecosystem, I just dropped a link in the chat that is our Zendesk announcements Help Center. I really would recommend following that. Any kind of new product updates are going to be taking place there first, as well as some vital information either from the community or from Zendesk as a whole. Vulcan, this was fantastic. Really, really great stuff. If you have any more questions on what Vulcan has just covered, please keep asking them. We are going to have a section at the end for more Q&A. And anything, again, we don't get to now, we're going to do our best to go ahead and answer post the event, so that way no questions go unanswered today. But let's go ahead and move on to our next section of the event, admin permissions. Woo woo. And Max, are you ready to go ahead and chat us up about them admin permissions?
Yes, that might be more excitement than anyone else has expressed yet. I'm very glad to hear it.
You know, I bring it. I bring it. I'm here for you.
I don't have any slides for you, so I'm just going to show you some of this in the product. When I'm clicking the screen share button, nothing is happening.
That's because Brett is taking over the screen share, so you might. There we go. There we go.
There we go. We're working on it. Oh boy. Might have to adjust my screen, my preferences in my computer here. This may or may not work. Let's try it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to quit Chrome to do this. I can't screen share. It wants me to go. Oh, jeez, this is what happens when you use a new app. Well, I can talk if someone else has a Zendesk account they can pop open.
I think Dave is on the works, but also I think Dave.
Yeah. Where would you like me to go, Max?
Just go into the people page and open up a custom role of any type.
Okay, give me one.
So while Dave's doing that, I'll talk. My role for the last couple of years has been managing our permissions system. We are rebuilding from the ground up how permissions work at Zendesk. We are working on a centralized service so that all of our Zendesk products will eventually be controlled through the same technology. We have been busy on a lot of back-end stuff, and we have made a couple of releases already to try to get some value into this as soon as possible. We have more great stuff in the pipeline, and we have grown our team, and everything is starting to really come together. So what I wanted to show today is just a couple of new permissions we have added. If you are on a Zendesk Enterprise subscription for the support product, you're probably already familiar with custom roles. You allow you to pick and choose the options you'd like to give to a role and then assign that role to as many people as you like. If you just like open up the advisor, let's say, right, that is one of the defaults, or not default, but rather pre-built custom roles we give you when your account goes to the enterprise plan. And you can see if we scroll down just a little bit here, we've added a couple of things at the bottom of this tickets section. We've added both the manage ticket fields and manage ticket forms option. And then if we scroll down to the bottom of the users section, or people section, I should say, we've added to manage user fields and organization fields. And if we go down just a little bit more under agent workflow towards the bottom of that, we'll see manage contextual workspaces. So those 5 were all added in December. The idea here is that what we see from a lot of you is that the biggest concern with roles is that there's a lot of stuff that only admins can do. And that actually turns out to be a bit of a security and organizational issue. Whenever you create a new admin, you're creating someone who can do anything inside your Zendesk. So anything that only the admin can do means you have to give someone access to all the other things that an admin can do, even if you might not want them to do those things. So that might mean that you are creating an admin because you want them to be able to bulk upload users, or to, for example, in this case, manage contextual workspaces. And then they are also now able to create API tokens. They're able to add and remove new admins. They're able to change other people's permissions, etc. You would want to instead target the specific permissions you want someone to have, so you don't have to give them full access. Admins also have the ability to see all tickets, which means that you can't give someone the ability to do some of these things without also granting them access to all tickets, which might mean giving them access to more sensitive information. What we're trying to do here is we'll be releasing more of these as time goes on, more and more permissions that would come from normally the admin space into the custom roles space, thus allowing us to create sort of a smooth transition of any level of privilege to the people that you want. There's a couple good questions in here. I'm going to try to pick these up real quick. Maribel asks, what is a good use case for contextual workspaces? I'm not the PM for contextual workspaces. My understanding of it is maybe not 100% perfect, but the idea with a contextual workspace is you can sort of limit what an agent sees while they're working on tickets, depending on things about them or the ticket they're working on. So you can reduce the apps that they see, reduce the views that they see, reduce the ticket forms they might see, things like that, so that you can sort of personalize the experience of working on the ticket to the ticket itself. We added contextual workspaces here because it can be a bit of a pain to manage contextual workspaces. And if only your admins can do it, that might mean that if there are changes that need to be made, you're taking time out of someone's schedule who is an admin, and there's a limited number of them. Some of our bigger customers have said to us basically they couldn't adopt contextual workspaces until this happened because it was too much work for individuals who were admins to manage that. But now that they can give that permission to more people, they can spread out that workload and make it easier. Sydney asks, will there be permissions for non-admins to onboard new agents? Right now, it is on all the admin and creates a bottleneck. That's really similar to what I was just describing with the contextual workspace. I am working on the ability for agent management, staff or team member management to be done by non-admins. There's a little bit of a question there about exactly how we want to do that. Do we want to just give you a checkbox that lets them do the whole thing, or do we want to try to limit who can create what kinds of agents, right? You may not want someone to be able to create admins if they're not an admin, for example. So we need to kind of figure out how to work through that. We'll be exploring that, I think, a little bit in the second half of this year or the first half of next year. And he asks, question for admin settings in general, is Zendesk planning to split the permission of moving agents between groups and edit end user organizations? Yes, we do want to change that so that we split out group and organizations into 2 permissions. If you look in your custom roles today, you'll see that they're linked in one. That actually is kind of at the top of our list for changes we'd like to make. Changes turn out to be a little bit more complicated. We have to do some code migrations, some fairly complex processes on the back end, but that one is actually the #1 change that I would like to make. I've received that feedback a bunch of times. Harriet asks, feels like an obvious one. I'm sure it's a fine question, but just to confirm, will edits to contextual workspaces, fields, etc., by assigning these different fields be visible in the audit log so we can track who's done what? You're in luck. You're talking to the right person. Someone on my team actually manages the audit log as well. We are working on getting pretty much everything into the audit log. I don't know what the status on contextual workspaces is right now, but I do know that everything in support admin is the first section that we're targeting in terms of expanding that. We're looking at all the little toggles and switches and all of the things you can create and making sure that every create and edit and delete event gets moved into that log. I'll make sure to look at contextual workspaces. I would have thought that was already in there, but sometimes I'm surprised by things that we've missed in our pursuit of the audit log. We're also trying to make it a first class part of the definition of being done with something in Zendesk, that whenever you build a new setting, you have to get it into the audit log. We know that that is incredibly important to people's excuse me, security and other concerns when it comes to just understanding what's happening in that account. That kind of visibility is really important. And then Harriet also asked, will ticket field change permission be compatible with the ticket field manager app to restrict the fields available for non-admins to change and use? I don't know that app well enough to say that for sure. The new permission that we built only gives you access to manage the ticket fields themselves. Generally with an app, that could be complicated. And I'm not sure exactly what's happening there. I would suggest reaching out to our support team, our advocacy team, filing a ticket and talking with them. It really comes down to how the app works before we can answer that for sure. How did I do? There was one last thing. Go ahead.
I was gonna say you did fantastic. Did you have anything else to add though on what we?
There's actually one other thing that I want to cover. We've added one other thing. Dave, if you could pop that back up and go into the admin center for me. There is one other permission that we have added to the product, and this one is managed a little differently. Until this February, it was always only possible for a single person, the account owner, to manage your billing and subscription. And we've added the ability to add additional billing admins to your account that can manage the subscription as well. This is managed in the admin center, however, because that's where billing lives. And it's not something you can assign just on a custom role. Instead, you have to basically create a new admin who has also, in addition to their normal admin permissions, the ability to manage billing. This is on the account menu. And you see now we have a billing admins tab here on this account contacts page. And right now you can see that in Dave's account, Dave is the only person who can do this. But if you click that add billing admins button on the upper right, you can pick from a list of your other admins. You have to be an admin already to become a billing admin. We don't have any here. That's fine. It's a live demo. We're doing it live. That person can become a billing admin and manage subscriptions. Anna Alicia asks, can light agents be billing admins? No, that is something that we're looking at exploring in the future. Basically today, the way that things are instrumented, we can only do this for a full admin. But in the long term, we're kind of trying to remove that distinction from the product so that more permissions can be assigned more granularly to all roles. The idea of being able to have a non-paid seat that can manage billing is something we've heard a bunch of times, and we would like to support that in the future. We just have to do some more work to get there. Sydney asked, will there be permissions to change the account owner? This is an interesting question. At the moment, only the account owner can change the account owner, and I think that makes sense. I think we need to explore that a little bit. It would be a little odd to have a situation where a non-owner can take owner privileges away from the owner. Could be interesting to explore, though. I have sort of drawn the line for myself that the only things that are limited to the owner are changing the owner and closing your account entirely. Those seem like things that you'd have to be the sole point of contact to do, but that's an interesting one, and I'd love to hear more. It would be great if you could, post in our community about it. Maybe we could have a discussion. I'm interested in figuring out where that line actually is, or if there even is one. Then Maribel asks, any plans for user custom fields to upload a CSV file? This is available for ticket fields. This, unfortunately, is not my area. I manage the permissions. I don't know if there are any plans for this. I would imagine that makes sense. It seems like if we can do it for ticket fields, we should be able to do it for user fields. But that feedback is probably something we need to get to the team that manages our user fields. And I'm not even sure who that is right now. But again, I think if we had a post in the community or a ticket about that, that would be something that we could get to the right people.
Fantastic. We're definitely coming up on the last 5 minutes of the event. Max, thank you so much for taking the time to go ahead and answer all those questions. If we have any more, right now is to ask them in the last 5 minutes of our event. I want to thank Vulcan and Max for taking time out of their day to sit down and talk with us. We've had some really great questions that we're going to be going ahead and publishing after the event. I would also stress, if you do have feedback for Max or Vulcan on what they've discussed today, please go ahead and share within the Zendesk community. I know sometimes it can be a little disheartening not getting responses right away, but I do assure you that we do read those posts and we do pass that along to product teams who they belong to, and they do take that into consideration when making changes into Zendesk for sure.